Okay, so welcome. This is Yoga for All, and my name is Lianna, and I will be leading the practice here today, this morning. We're going to start off in a seat on our mat, so feel free to find a comfortable place to sit. It looks like there's somebody else here, so go ahead and make your way to a seat on your mat. And welcome, Chris. Is it okay if I mute your mic, Chris?
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So here we are, here for our practice for Yoga for All this morning. This will be about a 45-minute practice. And we're starting out on a seat on our yoga mat. We don't need any specific or additional props today. But if there's anything that you usually like to practice with, have that nearby. And so a common way to start our yoga practice is our easy seated pose, where we cross the legs in front of us. And then we might look around the space, take in what's around us. And then the eyes can close from there, or the eyes can stay open. And so we typically start our practice coming into stillness, coming into a seat. And so I should be the only mic on right now. And as I was saying earlier, before you arrived here, Chris, there's the options in the bottom, like the chat box, if you need to send me any messages or let me know anything as class is going on. I'll be checking the screen every once in a while throughout our practice. And then as I also said, you can have the video on or video off. It's totally up to you if you're practicing live. So we find our seat on our mat. And as we close the eyes, the breath starts to come through in a different way, maybe than it was just before we joined this practice. And maybe if the eyes are closed, we see the tops of trees kind of blowing back and forth, and that signifies our breath. Back and forth, side to side, in and out. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So focusing on our breath is one of the most important things we can do, not only in our yoga practice, but in all areas of our life, really. I've felt in my own yoga practice that the breath calms my heart rate, brings me back to this place of clarity and easy decision making. It brings a sense of ease into my whole body on all levels. So see what the breath does for you today. Just noticing it, how it comes through, what is natural in your breath as you inhale and exhale. We don't have to change anything. And so we're coming into that physical layer of the body through our hatha yoga practice, which is making the poses, making the shapes in our body. The breath is the energy that allows the poses and the movement of the body to happen. And we have that mind-body connection and body-heart connection into what's happening on the outside and what we're experiencing on the inside. How we're feeling. Yoga helps us to tap into our feelings and our moods and what's happening in this moment. So experiencing yoga on all those levels doesn't have to be all the time, all at once. One might come through, then the other. But know that they're happening even if we're not fully aware of it. So let's go ahead and open the eyes. And I'm just gonna face the camera for the moment just so you can see me easily. We'll uncross the legs and we're not gonna send the feet too far away from us. We're gonna connect the soles of the feet and then just let the feet kind of drift out in front of us a little bit. And so we make this diamond shape with the legs. We can adjust the seat, we can pick up one side and then pick up the other, and we elongate the spine. So as we breathe, the spine becomes longer. We root down into the seat and we rise up towards the sky. So we have that ground, earth connection, but then also the sky, air connection and everything in between. Let's start to turn the upper body towards the right knee. Reach that right hand back behind us. I'll turn to my side so you can see. So we reach the right hand back behind us, left hand to the right knee, and we twist open towards the right. While still lifting up tall through the spine. So each inhale draws the top of the head upward. Each exhale maybe twists us a little bit further. Let the shoulders feel heavy here, or just notice where they are. What's happening with them? Can we soften them? Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, exhale here. Let the breath flow when we're in the shape, in the pose. This is our seated twist with our Baddha Konasana legs. Inhale, exhale. And then on your next inhale, make your way back around to center. Adjust to your seat as you need to. This time we'll start to shift the upper body in the same direction as that left knee and left leg. Left hand back behind, right hand to the outer edge of the left knee as we twist open towards the left. Inhaling and exhaling. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. Yoga is our practice of effort and ease, so we're not trying too hard, but we're not being too passive. It's this place in between. Let's inhale ourselves back around to center. We'll plant the left foot towards the outside edge of our yoga mat, just so we can bring this right heel a little bit closer to the underneath of the left thigh. This leg might even be parallel with the top edge of the mat. I'll move my other leg out of the way so you can see. So this right leg is parallel, possibly, with the top edge of the mat. And then use the left hand to guide this left leg back behind us. So we're kind of fanning out the legs here. Notice how this feels in the body. Notice if maybe to make it a little easier on the hips, maybe bringing this heel in a little closer to the body makes it more accessible. Maybe the hips need some extra opening this morning. So this leg, the lower part of the right leg, is parallel with the top edge. So we're sitting up tall and we might shift side to side, just noticing if we're leaning in one direction or the other. And if we are, that's okay. And let's flex that right foot so the toes point towards the right knee. And then we'll walk the hands forward and we'll start to release the upper body over the front right leg. You can stay lifted in the arms and just walk the hands towards the top edge of the mat. At any point, you might release to the forearms. Keep that breath flowing. Breath in and out. And notice what's happening in the right hip. Notice the left hip. At any point, if you get a little closer to the earth, you might stack the hands and rest the forehead. You might curl the fingers in towards the palms and then stack the hands from there and let the forehead rest. See what's happening, see what's working, and also know what's not working. Let's inhale to walk the hands back towards the body. And let's twist over to the left. Right hand might hold on to the left leg or left thigh. Keep breathing. Breath in. Side out. Breath in. Side out. Breath in. Let it go. And let's inhale back to center. Finding stability through the front of the body and through that front right leg. Use the left hand to bring this left leg around in front. And then we might stack this left leg on top of the right leg. And if the knee's not going down, that's okay. If the knee's lifted, that's okay. We'll use the hands to hold the leg here. So right hand on the left foot, left hand on the left knee. Sitting up tall through the spine, sitting up long through the spine. That's the most important part here. Doesn't matter so much where we are here. We want to make sure the spine is finding its full capability here of length. Let's roll the shoulders here. One direction, then the other. And then let's pick up this top left leg and we're just gonna kind of rock it side to side. Again, we wanna make sure the spine is tall. And so we might lean back ever so slightly into the sit bones. And then we'll make our way back to center. And let's bring this right foot out a little wider. Connect the soles of the feet. Hands resting on the knees. Let's find some seated cat-cows. Inhale to puff the heart forward. Exhale to round the spine back. Tuck the chin towards the collarbones. Inhale, heart reaches forward, gaze looks up. Exhale to round the spine back. Inhale and exhale. Couple more times like this. Breath in and breath out. Move it at your own pace. And let's meet back at center. We'll find the other side of the body. So we'll plant the right foot, maybe off the right edge of our mat. Bring this left leg in. Shin might be parallel with the top edge. Your heel might bring itself in a little closer to the body. Use the right hand to guide the right leg off towards the right, fanning out the legs in the other direction. Shift from side to side. Notice the hips here. We'll probably feel some form of tightness no matter how many times I practice hip openers. My hips are pretty much tight on a daily basis. And that's okay. It's part of the process. And so we'll meet back at center to our best ability. Walk the hands forward. Again, you can stay lifted long through the arms, the fingers spread wide, and stay like this the whole time. And breathe. You might Lower to the forearms or stack the hands. Let it feel okay in the body. Check in with the physical realm of the body, the food body, the skin, the tissues, the bones, the muscles, the organs, all the things that make up the body that we know as ourselves in this moment. If anything feels like it's too much or causing pain, back out of it a little bit, and that might mean not going as close to the floor. It might mean going a little shallower in the physical depth of the pose, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong way to find a pose variation, a yoga pose variation. Each side might be different too. That's an option. You might have done one thing on one side and then another thing on this side. Let's inhale to walk the hands towards the body. Take your time. Sitting up tall through the spine. Maybe shift the weight forward and to the left so we can bring this right leg around in front. Take as much time as you need to help it over here. And we'll stack the legs, use the hands for support, right hand on the right knee, left hand on the right foot. And just see where you are. Wiggle the seat, elongate the spine. What does it take to be here? Do you even want to be here? All the poses are just suggestions. Breathe into it though. Breath will help guide us effectively. Let's pick up this right leg and let's just rotate it or rock it side to side. Breathing. And then we'll bring this right foot to meet the sole of the left foot in our Baddha Konasana shape again, just like we were towards the beginning of our practice. And we'll breathe here. Take an inhale, reach the heart forward. Exhale to release down over the legs. Breath in and out. And we'll inhale, walk the hands back towards the body. And I did forget some movements on the other side. So let's make that fanning out position of the legs with the right leg to the right, left leg in front. Tall through the spine. Let's go ahead and twist open towards the right. Inhale back around to center. And in this shape, before we change anything, let's just move the head around in a circular motion. Being gentle with the neck, gentle with the muscles up and around the shoulders and the ones that connect into the neck. Moving in one direction and then switch to the opposite direction. And the slower we move, the more subtle we'll feel the movement in our body. And let's go ahead and meet back at center. From here, plant the hands and let's meet up in tabletop. Open the knees wide, connect the big toes, and to feel into both hips at the same time, let's sink the seat towards the heels, stretch the arms forward, child's pose. Notice what happens through the spine, if anything, as we elongate here. Let's inhale up, tabletop. So we have the hips over the knees, shoulders over the palms, fingers are spread wide. Inhale, reach that left leg straight back behind us. Let's lower down onto the right forearm. Use the left hand as support here. Bend into that lifted left leg. Maybe we stack the left hip over the right. And we might point the toes of the left foot towards the ground, back behind us, towards the right edge of our mat. Breathe here. Maybe rotate the foot around on the ankle. Continue to breathe. Keep the heart open. Spine is still long, so we're reaching the top of the head towards the top of the mat. Let's inhale, planting the right hand and re-extending the left leg straight back behind us. Exhale, bring the knee in towards the nose. Round the spine. Inhale, extend that left leg long. Exhale, left knee towards right elbow, crossing under the body. Inhale, reach it long. Left knee, left elbow. Shifting the weight, maybe even gazing towards the left edge of the mat. Inhale, left leg reaches straight back behind. On an exhale, bring left knee to left elbow. Plant the foot and walk it forward until we frame this front foot with the hands. The right leg might reach a little longer back behind us. Bring your left hand to your left knee. Reach the right hand to the inside of the left foot and start to twist open towards the left. With that right hand, you can reach the fingertips to the ground or the palm towards the earth. If that feels like a little too much on the wrist, you might curl the fingers in towards the palm and then rest on the knuckles. But do what's most stable for yourself. And then you might reach the left arm up towards the ceiling, twisting in a different way, bringing out. Breath in. On an exhale, both hands to the inside of the front left foot. Let's inch this left foot a little closer to the left edge of the mat for lizard lunge. Tuck the toes on that back foot, lift that back knee. Rock kind of forward and back on your mat. So you might pick up onto the toes of that back foot and then reach it back so the ball of that back foot rests. Like you're getting ready to take off or to run. As you feel ready, we'll step the right foot to the outside edge of the right hand for wide leg forward fold at the top of the mat. So take your time, take as many steps as you need. Right foot to the outside of the right hand, feet resting on the edges of your yoga mat. Upper body folds over the lower body. Let the head shake yes and shake no. Arms are heavy, just like the head here. And we feel that stretching and opening up in the backs of the legs. Let's go ahead and sink the seat down here towards the heels with the feet opening wide. So the toes point out wide, heels pointing towards one another. Find the ground under the hands or play around with picking the hands up off of the earth for our Malasana shape here. So I'll turn to the front so you can see. This is our Malasana. You might reach the hands to the ground to stabilize. On an inhale, start to straighten the legs, heel toe the feet in, so they're under the hips and they're parallel with one another, forward fold. And so we're at the top of our mat in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And so halfway lift, we'll breathe here a couple times, is again, long spine, bending at the hips. Our body is in somewhat of a 90-degree shape. Root down into the feet, feel that space below the toes and into the heels. Engage through the muscles to have a slight bend through the knees. We bend at the hips. We rest the hands on the front of the shins or just out in front of the legs. Our gaze looks down at the ground to keep the neck in line with the spine. The neck is a part of the spine. So when we say elongate the spine, that includes the neck. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. This time on an inhale, press down into the feet, start to bend into the legs, start to sink the seat, and then stand all the way up. Reach the arms out wide, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands connect at heart center, and then we'll lower the arms along the side body. So we're simply standing. The eyes can close. And so we've done some movements on one side, we have not done the same movements on the other, but we will. We'll just check in here. How are we doing with the breath and the body connection? What's happening there? Doesn't have to be one way or the other. Whatever is happening is happening. We just want to take notice. That's it. So from our mountain pose, we can open the eyes, reach the arms out wide, reach the arms up, and then connect the palms above the head, tracing that center line of your body. Start to hinge at the hips. Arms start to come down in front of you, in front of the head, and then in front of the heart as we fold all the way down over the legs. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, let's plant the hands, and we'll step the right foot straight back behind us. Lower that back knee or keep that back knee lifted. Left hand rests on the left knee, reaching that right hand towards the earth. Let's find a revolve lunge or lunge twist. Lifted arm might tuck behind the back or stay lifted up towards the sky. See where the gaze wants to go. Let it be accessible for the neck. We'll frame this front foot. Lower this back knee down if it's not already there. Step left leg back to meet the right tabletop. Open the knees wide. Sink the seat towards the heels. Arms reach forward, child's pose. Forehead rests towards the earth, and so we might rock the head side to side, noticing the front of the skull. Let's walk the hands back towards the legs. Legs become parallel. And let's stand up onto the knees. Let's roll the shoulders a couple of times. One direction, then the other. Rest the hands like we have back pockets on the back body, on the glutes. Bring the elbows in towards one another and start to lean, towards the hands. Opening up the front of the hips. Breathing. How do we notice ourselves from the legs all the way up to the top of the head? Can we be here? Can we breathe here? Let's inhale, reach the hands forward, tabletop. This time, inhale, reach the right leg straight back behind you. Being mindful of the space you have and everything that's nearby. Let's lower this time to the left forearm. Right hand still planting. You might even have a slight bend through that right elbow. Bend into that lifted right leg. And then we start to open and lift that right leg a little higher with the toes pointing towards the ground, back behind us. Towards the left edge of our mat. We might rotate the foot around on the ankle. Just a couple more breaths here. And then use the strength of that right arm, the strength of the core to lift yourself back up to tabletop with the right leg extended straight back behind. Exhale, knee in towards nose, round the spine. Inhale, right leg reaches straight back. Exhale, right knee to left elbow, crossing under the body. Inhale, straight back. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale, right leg straight back. Right knee to right elbow. Plant this right foot to the outside edge of the right hand and then frame this front foot. Left leg might reach and stretch a little longer back behind us. Lift the upper body, find the right knee with the right hand. And start to twist the upper body towards the right for this variation on a lunge twist. Breath in and out. And then both hands to the inside of that front right foot. Walk that right foot a little closer to the right edge of the mat. Lizard lunge. Feeling into the hips, maybe swaying the seat side to side. And then finding stability through the right foot, finding stability through the right hand and the left hand and both arms. Tuck the toes, lift that back knee. Spine is still long. We'll rock forward and back a couple times. And then as you're ready, you might lift the hips a little higher and then bend into that back leg so that we can step the left foot forward. Wide leg, forward fold, feet resting off of the mat or on the edges of the mat. Breath in and out. Head is hanging heavy here. Shoulders are heavy, arms are heavy. Heel toe the feet in. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands just below the knees. Exhale to fold. Inhale to stand all the way up. Arms reach out wide and then up. Hands connect in front of the heart in our Anjali Mudra. Walk the feet out a little wider. Let the toes point out wide and let the heels point in towards one another. So I'll just turn to the side so you can see. And we're gonna squat down into our Malasana. Trying to think of the Sanskrit name for it. So the seat is resting, kind of floating between the heels, between the legs. And if the hands are at heart, we press the knees away from one another. We might want to reach the hands forward to help stabilize. Do that. Continue to breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. And then use the hands as support. Reach the hands towards the ground and start to pick the seat up so that we can meet once again in a forward fold. And then in a forward fold at the top of our mat, we'll inhale halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to stand all the way up. Hands meet at heart. Arms drop alongside us. Mountain pose. Check in with the thoughts and the feelings. That's also a part of our yoga practice. Opening up different layers at different times. We might not always recognize thoughts coming through or feelings that we might have, but sometimes we do. Either way is fine. Either way is all a part of our practice. Let's inhale, reach the arms out wide, connect the palms up above, on an exhale, fold down over the legs. Let's step our left foot straight back behind us. Lower that back knee or keep it lifted. Plant left hand to the inside of the right foot. Right hand rests on the right knee. Right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Revolved lunge. Breath in and out. You might keep the right arm lifted or tuck it behind the waist. As you're ready, right hand comes to the outside edge of the right foot. Let's lower that back knee, untuck the toes, step the right leg back to meet the left, tabletop. Open the knees wide, child's pose. Upper body resting towards the ground. Let's inhale up, tabletop. Bring the knees in under the hips. Walk the hands back towards the knees. We'll stand up on our knees. Hands finds our imaginary back pockets. Then we lean back into it. Giving the hips some support, stretching the hips in the opposite way, stretching out the psoas muscle. The psoas group of muscles connects upper body to lower body. And as we lean back, we help to stretch it open and out. Let's go ahead and walk the hands forward, and then we'll lower all the way onto the front of the body on our mat. And you can reach the arms back behind you and let one side of the head or the other rest. So the whole front of the body rests. Check in with your breath on the front of the body. Check in with the breath on the back body. Do you notice it on the backs of the ribs and the sides of the ribs? Does the back of the heart inflate every time you inhale? And release every time you exhale. Switch the turn of the head. And then we'll inhale back to center. Plant the hands under the shoulders. Bring the elbows in close. And as we press into the hands, we'll lift the head, lift the front of the shoulders for cobra or baby cobra. Exhale, release everything down. Forehead resting towards the ground or floating the head just an inch or so off of the ground. Inhale, lift the head. Open the front of the shoulders, pull the elbows towards the sides of the ribs. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, release. We'll slide the hands up so they're directly under the shoulders. Extend the left arm out wide to the left. Press into the right hand and start to stack the right side of the body over the left side of the body as we open up onto the left shoulder. And the left arm might be straight out from the left shoulder. We might come out of the shape and bring the arm a little closer to the side body, and that might feel a little more accessible for that left shoulder. We don't want to push ourselves too far. Again, that place between effort and ease. That top right leg can drape back behind the left leg. You might bend into it and plant the right foot behind the back of the left knee. Keep breathing. And our shoulder opener here. The head can rest heavy towards the mat. We don't have to lift the head up or put any extra strain on the neck. Let's inhale around and back to center. Let's reach both arms back behind us. Palms face up. Maybe turn the head in the opposite direction. Bend into the legs, both legs, and as we're resting on the front of the body, let's sway the legs side to side. Look, they're windshield wipers. And then back at center. Both hands under the shoulders, extend the right arm out wide to the right, and start to stack the left side body on top of the right. Use that left hand for support. You can keep the leg stacked, or left leg might float back behind the right leg, or plant the foot behind the back of the right knee. Keep breathing. Something that we always come back to is our breath. And so notice this side compared to the other. What is happening in the shoulder and the hips. Let's inhale back around to center. Both hands under the shoulders. Switch the turn of the head. And reach the arms long back behind us. Bend into the legs. Windshield wiper the legs. And then we'll go ahead and drop the toes to the earth. Turn the head to face center. Hands plant under the shoulders. Press into the arms. Press into the hands as we lift up. Shift the seat towards the heels and then off to one side or the other. Swing the legs around in front. Let's shake out the legs, and from our staff pose, hands resting just alongside the hips. Long spine, lifting up tall. Take a breath in and out. On your next exhale, walk the hands forward and fold over the legs. Hands resting alongside the legs or on top of the legs. Inhaling, reaches the top of the head towards the feet. Exhale, folds us a little closer to the legs. But really, they're very subtle movements here. Almost like we can't quite tell if anything's moving or anything's happening. And that place between effort and ease. Inhale to walk the hands back up towards the body. Bend into the legs, plant the feet. Bring the hands to rest on the backs of the thighs or open the arms wide. And we'll start to lean back and pick up the feet into our boat pose. Heart is expanding and lifting up. Hold on to the backs of the legs or reach the arms out to the sides of the body with the palms faced up. Maybe we play around with straightening the legs, noticing how the muscles shake. And then lower the feet to the ground. Hands on the backs of the thighs. Start to make a little bit of a rounding curve in the lower part of the spine as we release one vertebrae at a time onto our back, onto the mat. Stretch the legs long. Flop out the feet wide. Arms open up wide, palms face up. Resting here for your Shavasana. So our Shavasana is our final resting pose. It's stillness. We can lie down. If lying down doesn't work, find a seat. And since we started just a couple minutes past 9, I am going to go just a couple minutes past 9:45, but it's almost 9:45 right now. We have just about 30 seconds, so it's 9:45. So if you have to go, that's okay. I just want to be mindful of the time. I don't want to take time away from you because our time is valuable. So if you can be here for just a few more minutes, be here. do what's best. So we rest in our Shavasana. We look for a bit of stillness, a bit of silence within ourselves, in that we're not moving the body, we're not breathing heavily or loudly. It's very soft and shallow. The chatter in the mind may have quieted down a bit, or it might be picking up once again, and that's okay. See it for what it is, acknowledge it. And so we move through to this place of wisdom within ourselves, within our body, and what it needs to be healthy, to be in a place of best ability. So we'll rest here for just a moment or two longer in all of those layers of the body. Take a breath in through the nose and sigh out through the mouth. Let a breath find you by inhaling and let it release from you by exhaling. One more in and out. Start to bring the legs in towards the upper body. So we use the arms to hug the legs in towards the upper body, wrapping the arms around the front of the shins or the backs of the thighs. And we'll sway side to side, feeling into the backs of the hips. Opening the shoulders wide onto the back of the mat as you find each side. And then roll to the left or the right side body, whichever one works best. And we'll rest on the side body. From our side body, press into the opposite hand, and we make our way up into a seat on our mat. Let's find an easy seated pose once again, just like we did when we began our practice. The eyes can open, the eyes can close. Let's bring the left hand to rest on the energetic heart center, so just below the collarbones. Palm resting on the front of the energetic heart space. Right hand finds the ground in front of us, finding that connection that we're part of the earth, we're part of everything else up above and in between. Always coming back to the breath and acknowledging the layers that we live in, the layers that become who we are, and that at each moment they're all intertwining. Let's rest the right hand on top of the left hand. And to end your practice how it works for you. Here in the West, we've had a tradition of ending with namaste, but really namaste is more of hello than leaving, than a goodbye. So maybe find thank you or be well or something else that works for you, something that honors the practice. So I end our practice with thank you and be well. And if anybody has any questions, feel free, you can turn your video back on or you can leave it off. You can turn your audio on. And if you have any questions, you can ask them now. If anything comes up later on, then feel free to reach out to me. I'm on Instagram. I have an email address if anybody has anything they want to share. So that's it. So thank you both. And Heather just left, but thank you so much for everybody who joined in today.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Lianna.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
I'll see you both soon.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.